is how does one know if they're healthy or not? How can I be in the same environment, change nothing, but still not be affected by it?
People trying to downplay the importance of the sun. Basically, we're plants that move. The more sun you get, the less food you need. Brown is the new sexy.
It can't be so easy to fix my health.
It's a myth that we need to always keep topping up our water.
Our water.
Yeah, we can naturally survive without it, especially if you're already well hydrated.
Is it okay to get it in the shade? Is it different when I'm under a tree or in the shade of a building?
So every day, in every way, you want your bum in the sun.
In your book, you've put everything down in 20 points. The best part is Chad invited me to write a couple of chapters on it, so we're going to publish an Indian edition of it. So if you want to join the community, the link
Eternal
is
Youth.
Yeah, the Eternal Youth community. The link is down here. It's full of amazing people, and you'll get to see photos of a sunrise every day. Welcome, Chad. I wanted to make this video from a very long time because the most precious thing that people have is their youthfulness. And, when they lose that, they've lost everything. Because if you've got money, you've got great relationships, you've got everything, and you lose your health, it's done. You're finished. Yeah. And I just want people who are sick to watch this, and I want people who are living a really bad lifestyle to wake up and understand whether they're healthy or not. So the first question I want to ask you is, how does one know if they're healthy or not?
Yeah, so that's a great question. For me, it's not about blood tests. It's not about how what other people think. It's what happens to you. How is your energy? And energy is life, after all. So if you have good energy and you can wake up in the morning without an alarm clock, you feel good, you have good emotions, you're happy, and you can live a life full of energy, full of joy, doing good activities.
Wait a minute. I want to ask you, when you said if you're happy, a lot of people don't understand the relationship between being healthy and being happy. They say, can I be healthy and still have a miserable marriage?
No.
Oh.
No. And again, that's why we have so much anxiety, depression. People aren't living a life. They might think they have energy, but their environment or what they're doing is putting them in a state where they're not happy. Right. And I think health comes first. Okay. So when you have a healthy life and you have energy flowing through your body and you have the right atmosphere or the environment, then you want to do good. And I've even seen it in populations in the Philippines. Beautiful people, tropical people, take the sun away, take a good environment away, their disposition changes. They're no longer what they were. They were renowned for being healthy and happy and vibrant and always happy-go-lucky people. I've seen that change.
All right. When you talk about environment, I understand clutter is bad. I understand maybe you need to do some kind of visual stuff where you don't feel cramped up and you don't feel horrible. But that's stuff that I can see. But other than that, other than keeping your environment neat and clean and spacious and functional, what else should someone look for in their environment?
Well, first of all, one of the really good important points is that how you process food, how you live, is determined by your environment.
Okay.
So if you're living a natural life, if you're at one with nature, you metabolize your food more easily. So it's really how you live determines how your body operates, and that's the environment that we're talking about. So as you and I both know, we want to be natural. We want to have our bare feet on the ground. We want sun on our skin. We want to sleep in a clean, nice environment. So it's that, and that then affects your mood. So it's somebody could want to be happy, but there's so many factors affecting that. So
it's also a spiritual thing to be in a state of mind. That's the realm of spirituality.
Yeah,
that's where people are talking about. How can I be in the same environment? This is what people ask me all the time as a spiritual guru. How can I be in the same environment, change nothing, but still not be affected by it? I tell them it's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
Wow. And the changes we talk about aren't expensive. So we just want people to get out of their own way, which means try to live how our ancestors lived, live a more traditional life. And it's possible. And if they want health, which is wealth, then that's what that they can do. And I think we've got some answers that will teach them how to be healthy and wealthy.
So does getting into your ancestry mean knowing your DNA, and is that important?
Yeah.
Knowing your race, or
Yeah, I think definitely knowing your race, and like generally speaking, you know by who your mother and grandfather were, etc., color of your skin, where you came from on the planet. That does make a difference. So yeah, for sure. But as far as getting your blood tests and all that sort of thing, I'm not for that.
Now, I have a lot of students living abroad, especially in Canada and the US and Australia. They also live in Malaysia, a lot of them. And some of them live in South America. And they're Indians. They're basically Indians.
Yeah.
They have my skin and then they live there.
Yeah.
So what happens to them? Is it good for them? Is it bad for them? What should they do?
What happens is basically we're plants that move. And I really mean that. So if you look at hemoglobin, if you look at our blood, it has iron in the middle and 4 nitrogen atoms. A plant has magnesium and 4 nitrogen atoms.
Oh, wow.
They're identical, but we are a little bit more complex than a plant. So we have to eat food to supplement our sun and our grounding energy. So if you take a plant from India that's adjusted and meant to be in the Indian soil, it's meant to have the Indian tropical sun, and you move that to a cold climate.
It's not going to do well.
No, it will not thrive.
Most of my plants won't grow there.
Yes. Yeah.
So
It's a mismatch. So they can still live there,
okay.
but they have to do more. They have to overcompensate for their environment.
Wow.
But we even have you have people living around the corner from here, where we are, that are also mismatched because they live in a house that they feed on the ground. They're always in artificial light. They don't see the Indian sun. So effectively, they are not Indians. They might as well be living in Alaska.
So can we adapt more than plants?
Or can we adapt more than plants? We can. So we have other ways of improving our mitochondria or improving our energy, for sure. So we can adapt with food, we can adapt with the sun, we can adapt through cold. So there's many measures to improve our mitochondrial health. So the game's not over if you live in Berlin or Canada. We're not saying that. But there are strategies that you need to do.
All right.
Just as if you're a pilot or if you were a doctor, you have to do more because of where you live and what you're doing. So same scenario.
Okay. Yeah. So it requires a very active learning, I guess, if you want to live in another country.
Yes. Yeah. You have to do more.
Okay.
Because you're no longer adapted for that country.
Yeah.
So you have to learn and you have to adapt and become acclimatized to that country.
But I've never seen a white guy as brown as you.
Thank you.
So
that's a great compliment. Thank you.
How did that happen?
I've been building my solar callus for maybe 10 years.
All right.
So I want to be as browner than you. That's my goal.
Wow.
Because brown skin rocks. Brown is the new sexy. And if you're asking somebody about health, you don't look at somebody and say, wow, they look so pasty and white.
Yeah.
They look so pale, they look great.
Yeah.
It's when you have the color, you have a vibrancy, you have energy, and it radiates and people feel it. So I get lots of people asking me about my color, and I'm proud of it. And I want to be brown. I want to change the perception that brown skin or black skin or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I want this vibrant brown skin.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's great. So tell us a little more about the skin. Like what happens when sunlight hits us? Why is it so important?
Yeah, there's 100 reasons why. But I guess some of the major ones is as soon as the sun hits your skin, your blood flows. It's why their skin gets red. Yeah? So it's dermal pulling or nitric oxide is released. Blood flows and it flows to your heart.
Wow.
It flows to your brain.
Isn't that what Viagra does?
Yeah.
Release nitric oxide.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And it flows,
So does
somewhere
it
else.
increase your libido
100%.
to be in the sun?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's one of the markers of health, your sexual vitality, as well as other things. But yeah, so the sun will make your blood flow, and it flows to all your organs, your liver, your everything. So also the sun also helps to make vitamin D from sulfated cholesterol in your skin. It's basically your immune system.
But you call it hormone D.
Hormone D.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why
because
is that?
it's not a vitamin.
Okay.
They call it a vitamin to downplay its importance.
Okay.
In Australia, they don't even test for it anymore.
Really?
Because it's so important, they don't want you to know about it.
But isn't it like the number one thing in cancer patients, low vitamin D?
Yes. Yeah.
Every single cancer patient. That's what I heard.
Breast cancer, low vitamin D.
Okay.
Skin cancer, low vitamin D.
Wow.
And that means avoiding the sun. Wow. So avoiding the sun is equivalent or worse than smoking. If all-cause death disease increase with low vitamin D.
Wow.
And it doesn't come in a pill. You need to have your skin in the game. You need to put your skin in the sun. It penetrates. Yeah. So it penetrates through, and it does.
How far does sunlight go into my skin?
It depends, but up to 10 centimeters, even more.
10 centimeters. Wow.
Yeah.
This much.
Yeah. More.
Wow.
Yeah.
This much.
Yes.
Wow. So it's going right into my internal organs.
Yep.
Wow.
It's anti-inflammatory.
Unless I'm really fat.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you're really fat, by definition, you have low vitamin D.
Oh.
Because it's a fat-soluble hormone, so those people are low vitamin D.
Well, I didn't get that. What does that mean?
So it means that the bigger you are, you can't have as much vitamin D in your system. So if you've got the low vitamin D, and then
it's like it's gotten diluted because of all that fat.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and the water as well.
Oh.
So it's and again, low vitamin D, high deuterium, which is another subject we'll talk about later.
Wow.
But there's nothing more important on Earth than getting the sun. Okay. If you look at the plants, the trees, and if you have brown skin like yours, you need the sun more than me. If you have older skin like mine, then I need the sun even more.
Oh.
So it's really a factor of build your hormone D, build your beautiful brown skin, and keep going. Because we need it. Yeah.
How do I know when it's enough? Yeah. Because some people get sunburned.
Yes. Yeah. So what happens is, a factor of sunburn is not getting the sun in your eyes in the morning. Oh. So when we get our sun in our eyes in the morning, it actually makes melanin in our skin. That's a natural sun protection.
So is it safe to look directly at the sun?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, it depends. So its context is key.
Yeah.
If I had never looked in the sun and I came out from a cave that I'd been living in for a year, I might not want to look at the sun straight away. But if you practice and you build up, like you practice your martial arts, you get stronger. I can look at the sun in midday in Mysore.
Wow.
So no problem for me.
All right.
So yeah.
We do this too in yoga. We start off very slowly, and then there are practices where I would sit out in nature. Yeah. And I would just like watch the sun the whole day. Yeah. All I do is watch the sun. Yeah. And in the beginning, you had to quit around 11 o'clock because it gets too much. Yes. And then as you practice, I was able to make it through the afternoon and then make it all the way to sunset. So there was a day when all I did was only watch the sun.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
And I felt like I had so much energy that I didn't even need to sleep. Yeah. I slept for about 4 hours and I was up again.
Well, that's the other point with the sun. The more sun that you get, the less food you need to eat. Because basically the sun is food. It's electrons via electron chain transport into your body. So you get that via grounding, via the sun, and food. So the more sun you get, the less food you need. But sun is not just energy. It's also stored energy. Okay. So that's very important because that sun that I store on my skin, I use for cellular
just
repair
like a solar
at night.
Panel.
100%.
Wow.
Yeah. You're a solar panel.
Wow.
Yeah. So like a leaf.
Is my hair also a solar panel or is it?
Yeah, every part of your body.
Really?
Yeah. So you want
my nails.
Yeah, you want every part of your body in the sun.
Are my teeth crystals?
Yeah, I don't know. But if you want strong teeth, the sun. If you want strong bones, it's the sun. Yeah. If you want weak bones and bad teeth, artificial light. Avoid the sun.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Wow, this makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because I had cavities
Oh.
once, and then all I did was I heard a talk by Dr. Jack Cruz.
Yeah.
I started looking at the sun like this,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
getting it right onto the cavity,
Yes.
and it healed.
It healed. We in St Kilda in Melbourne, my friend and I would do what we call the alligator. So we just stand there like this
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah,
our
yeah.
tongues out,
Yeah.
and then we get one of our other friends to see how many people think we're crazy as they walk past. And funny story, the first two very good-looking ladies stopped and wanted to talk to us.
Wow.
I don't know.
Oh, man.
And it was just the tongue
You
that
don't
was
need
out.
to go to a bar in artificial light.
No. Yeah. But just
Yeah.
on the
This is
story.
good dating advice, huh?
Yeah, that's
Stand
it.
out in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're irresistible to women now.
Well, you the energy and the vibration that you have will be increased, and what vibrates will you attract what you vibrate. But just on the sun gazing, Jayantna has reversed his poor eyesight. We also
That's
have
right. He had glasses so thick.
yes,
Yeah.
Kirti. She's her skin is improving, but her menstrual cycle improved, but she no longer needs as thick eyeglasses.
Her menstrual cycle improved because she got sunlight in her eyes.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Because sunlight in your eyes helps you sleep. So especially melatonin in the morning, that's what you make melatonin from morning sunlight. So when you then, that melatonin is released in darkness, that is when you repair cellularly. Okay. That's your detox basically.
Wow.
So that's, your body knows how to repair.
Melatonin is cellular detox?
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's.
I thought it was just a sleep hormone.
No, it's everything because you detox when you sleep.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's when you get rid of poor mitochondrial function. Okay. That's when you might get rid of bad fat cells that have been hanging around for years. And they say, I've got this stubborn fat.
This is why I've got a few kgs, not a few kgs, but a few grams less when we wake up than when we slept.
Yeah. Yes.
So we've used up some fat.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've slept well and you've used good protocols during the previous day. Yeah. 100%. And also you become dehydrated. You sweat during the night. Yeah.
That's why I get better abs in the morning when I wake up. All right. Wow. Okay. So another question people ask me about the sun is that, is it okay to get it in the shade? Is it different when I'm under a tree or in the shade of a building?
Yeah.
So how do I know also if a place is safe for me to get sun, or it's full of other kinds of radiations? How do I know where to pick my spot for grounding and sun? Because people do this together, grounding and sun. Yeah.
Okay, I'd answer the question. First of all, with the sun.
Yeah.
Anywhere, anytime.
Okay.
In the Philippines, in the busy intersection with hundreds of cars coming past, my shirt was off, and I stood there looking and getting the sun, absorbing the sun. If you have nice brown skin like you have, you could almost handle the sun in the Sahara Desert.
Really?
Not quite, but you'd have to limit it a fraction. But Melbourne sun at the moment, if it's 30 degrees, you're good all day.
30 degrees, no problem.
Yeah, I'm also good all day. But context is key. So if somebody is white skin and they came from Norway, they would want to practice. They want to build up their ability to handle the sun.
So would they start in the shade?
No, I would definitely start in the morning sun.
Okay.
Eyesight, the sun on the skin for the melanin production, the sun protection factor is the melanin. And then just every day, practice and build up. So it depends where you start. So if somebody already has some good sunlight, you want more. So that's why one of my sayings is chase the sun. So every day, in every way, you want your bum in the sun.
Okay.
And of course, before you get burnt, then you might want to put on a shirt. You might want to put on coconut oil, which has sun protection factor. You might want to put on a hat.
Oh,
so
coconut oil is a natural sunscreen that doesn't harm you?
Yes. Yeah. Because what happens, sunscreen, sunglasses cause disease. So sunscreen is 50 chemicals in your bloodstream. So your skin is your largest organ. So you don't want to put foreign chemicals inside.
I think we don't realize how porous our skin is.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So the coconut oil, I drink it, I cook with it, I put it on my skin because I want it in my body. It's a great product. It's very healthy for you. I don't want toxic chemical sunscreen. Sunglasses affect your ability to make melatonin and melanin. So what we want is we want natural light. To answer the question about forest bathing or under a tree, that's also very good for you. So the higher elevation, you have more UV light, so which is very good for you. Even in why forest bathing is so good is that the forest absorbs the light through the trees and it allows more UV to come through. So, and UV is what we want on our skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and that's so again, just we want the sun created life on Earth. If we want a vibrant body, if we want good mitochondria, we want the sun because then we need less food. We've got the energy, the stored energy, the blood flow, but don't overdo it.
Okay.
But practice, and get better at it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then,
what about if I start sweating a lot? Would that dehydrate me if I go in the sun and start sweating a lot?
Yeah, you have to. I've ran a 21-kilometer race, which took me 1 hour, 50 minutes maybe. No water, fasted, and did it in good time and bare feet, so no shoes.
Wow.
It's a myth that we need to always keep topping up our water.
Our water.
Yeah, we can naturally survive without it, especially if you're already well hydrated.
Okay.
If you have a good, healthy metabolism and your mitochondria work well, you can hunt all day. You don't have...
Because that's what our ancestors did.
100%.
Yeah.
So, and then the first part of the animal that they eat is the heart, the liver, the brain, the fatty parts, because that then allows them to make more water in their body and it gives them more energy gram for gram. So they don't eat the chicken breast, they want the heart and the brain. So
I went through school and college and nobody told me that this is a hunter's body.
Yeah. Yeah. 100, that's the way to look at it. Ancestral.
Yeah, wow. So we're some kind of apex predator, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's not how people see themselves in India.
No. Yeah, and we're designed, if you become more natural, you're designed naturally. You won't need as much water. You can, once you get the sun, you don't need as much food.
I've noticed my dog and my cat, they don't drink much water. But we're just conditioned to drink a lot of water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes you get the balance wrong because one day I drank too little water trying to imitate my cat.
Yeah.
And then I had really hard stools the next day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So again, what you can do there is look at the color of your urine. And just sip, and then that's a good indicator. If it's too yellow, then you might want to drink a little bit more.
But do you want it to be a little straw colored or?
Yeah. You don't want it to be. You don't want to just
all white.
Yeah.
I mean, no, colorless.
Yeah. You're just wasting your time in the toilet, right? You could be using your energy for other things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the other benefit of eating 2 meals a day is that you're not always cooking, cleaning, buying.
Yeah. I started eating once a day and there's like nothing to do. Anyway, I don't cook. The food comes to me, I eat it, and I spend zero time in food.
Yeah.
That's why I can get a lot done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you live. Food should be enjoyed with friends.
Yes.
But it shouldn't be something that takes a long time to consume.
I'm following 2 things. Eat in the sun, eat on the ground, don't eat alone.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
That's good?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Right.
Well, when you're eating in the sun, you're actually eating the sun through your skin.
Oh, that's right.
So you're getting food through your mouth, chewing, but you're also getting it through your skin and through the palms of your hands and your feet.
It feels so good to get the sun on your skin.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because these were like new concepts to me, because I had already spent 2 years like in a cave, like not getting any sun. And I was wondering why my health was failing. I had gout. I had ED, and I had hair fall, and I had really pale skin and skin problems.
Yeah, your body was telling you This is not working. Stop it. The conditions, the environment were wrong. When you then gave the right conditions, your body rewarded you with a functioning body. And it can happen fast, can happen slow, but yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It actually happened pretty quick after I started getting sun.
Yeah.
I got much better. Just the sun.
Well, we're actually designed to be addicted. We are addicted to the sun because when we're in the sun, we make beta endorphin and dopamine. So it's a reward feedback loop that, oh wow, the sun felt good because it's a survival mechanism. Our body is always looking to survive.
Oh, I'm releasing drugs when I'm in the sun.
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, free drugs.
Free drugs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And if you don't get it naturally, you look for it unnaturally.
Artificially. Oh.
Yeah. So
like you need a coffee,
pornography, or internet shopping, alcohol, other drugs, whatever that. Yeah. So it's directly related. We have call it a dopamine bank account as well.
Okay.
You need to have a certain amount of dopamine that helps you for awareness and to sense what's happening around you. If you don't get the sun and live naturally, your dopamine is low, and then you'll try to get it from artificial
for those who
ways.
Don't know what's dopamine. What is it?
It's basically similar to beta endorphin. It's almost a drug, and it's one that it's
mood enhancer.
Yes, yeah, that's a perfect way to describe it. Yeah.
So people who are crabby all the time have low dopamine.
Yeah, generally. Yeah, they don't think well. And again, that's a function of blood flow to the brain, function of not being happy. So being self-centered because I've got this ache or this pain. So it's more inward looking.
If I said all your hormonal issues could be solved by you getting enough sun, would I be right?
Yeah, well, we'd say all is a big word.
Okay.
But I think we could say that almost all conditions would be benefited by the sun.
Wow.
100%. I've had A to Z of health conditions, some I've never heard of. Neurological, blood cancer that the doctor said to the lady.
You had blood cancer?
From a friend of my mum's.
Okay.
The doctor said, it's terminal, you're going to die, get your things in order. 7 years later, she's still kicking.
Wow.
Another lady with her daughter had cerebral palsy. We put her feet on the ground, we put her in the sun, and suddenly her condition, it didn't reverse, but it improved and she had a better quality of life. So for mine, everything improves when you live naturally. Funny about that.
Yeah, but I can see that how this is so linked in with how you feel. Yes. And I think that if you feel good, that means you have enough electricity in you.
Yes.
Isn't that true?
Yeah. We're beings of light.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really believe that as well. Exactly what you just said.
So do we produce our own UV light inside, our own light?
We do. We absorb light, and every cell emits light, low frequency light. So yeah.
And wouldn't that be enough to produce vitamin D if we could make our own vitamin D? Is that
well,
possible?
we make vitamin D from sulfated cholesterol in our skin.
Okay.
So there's that precondition there. So we need the sulfur, the green vegetables, the eggs. All right, that's why eggs are so important.
Because they have sulfur.
The eggs for the cholesterol, the green vegetables for the sulfur.
Green vegetables for the sulfur.
And then if you live in Alaska, for instance, they have the vitamin D from the fish eyeballs and the skin.
Eyeballs.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I guess we're designed to
most
live.
of us throw the eyeball away. We should be eating it. Right?
Yeah. Well, especially if you're in Alaska where you can't make the vitamin D that we can here in India. So that's the point. So it's almost a yin and yang. In India, you should be able to make more vitamin D because there's more sunlight.
So you don't have to eat fish eyeballs.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a relief.
But why not? Let's try.
Yeah. Okay. We could try. What about is vitamin D available in vegetarian food? How's that going? Because in India, it's largely vegetarian.
Yeah. Let me see. I think mushrooms, spinach, broccoli. But however, there's nothing can replace the sun.
Yeah.
So as far as somebody said, I'll take the supplement, or what food can I eat to get more? Well, because what we've said as well is that the sun is not just vitamin D. It's blood flow, it's stored energy, it's dopamine, it's everything. it's your melanin, it's your eyesight, it's your sleep. The sun is sleep. Sleep is life.
Okay.
So yeah, really.
So I got two things that we need to get: sulfur and cholesterol.
Yes.
And it's easy for me because I'm a non-vegetarian. I can get cholesterol real easy.
Yeah.
And I can get sulfur too from
Yes.
green vegetables, onions. Do
Yes.
onions have
Yeah.
it? So I eat a lot of onions.
Yeah.
So I'm getting it. What about my vegetarian friends and students? How are they going to get cholesterol from vegetarian food?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first thing I'd do is get in the sun because of all of the other benefits. So that then will help their redox or help their ability to absorb the sun. So, but as far as cholesterol in food, yeah, it's a good question. I think macadamia nuts, perhaps. There are, I'm not offhand, I'm not exactly sure, but I know there are foods rich in cholesterol. But eggs is probably the number one that I know of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some people eat eggs, but some people eat milk products.
Yes.
Would they get
there you go.
cholesterol from that?
Yes, cheese. and
Paneer.
other- Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Great. All right.
I was blanking on that.
Okay, great. I'm happy they can do that.
Yes.
Yeah, so they get cholesterol and they get sulfated. They make something with paneer and onions and greens. We got something called palak paneer, which is an amazing dish.
I love it.
Which has green stuff and it's got cholesterol too.
Yeah. And then eat that in the
so
sun.
should I eat that in the sun and then stay in the sun?
Easy.
Wow. Sometimes I wonder, are people avoiding doing what you say and what I've been telling them to because it's too easy, and if they believe that it can't be so easy, I'm really screwed. It can't be so easy to fix my health.
Yeah, I think there's a point there. With my people that I help for the last, I think, 10 years as a health coach, I always keep going back to the sun because, and keep emphasizing it, underline it, put it in bold, hit them over the head with it because it is so important. And there's a lot of mixed messages out there. So there's a lot of media, there's a lot of, I think, like maybe people trying to downplay the importance of the sun because then they can make more money by selling more food, by selling more drugs. So there's a lot of agendas out there.
Yeah, like the sun causes you cancer.
No. Yeah. That's the one thing, the reason they don't like the sun is because it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't make money off it.
Yeah.
But you can make money by making people dumb to the sun.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, what we're trying to do is just to highlight that this message that white skin is better. No, it's not. Brown skin is the way to go.
All the Indians need to hear this.
Yeah.
Because they all most people are wishing that I wish I was fairer.
Yeah. And the white
And
people.
it's the other way. The white people want to be darker.
Yes.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, so our way of, or not our way, but the white person way of getting more sun, we don't need as much sun as the brown person.
Right.
So even if we just do it a little bit, we still have the benefit.
Wow.
But when the brown person actively hides from the sun, the negative effect is catastrophic. Wow. So, or I don't know if that's a good word, but it's really bad for them. So I guess that's why I'm so passionate, because I've seen it in the Philippines, I've seen it in India. The negative effect is worse.
Wow.
So therefore, it's really a big job to change the perception.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons I got attracted to you as a health coach is that in your book, you've put everything down in 20 points. I like that shit. I'm like, I can read this, and I read it on a flight, really.
Cool.
I had it on my Kindle, and the flight started. It was a 2-hour flight, and by the time I reached back to my house, I had finished reading your book, and it's so easy to do. Yeah. So that's why I would recommend Chad's book, The Primed Life, which is extremely no. And the best part is Chad invited me to write a couple of chapters on it, so we're going to publish an Indian edition of it. And I highly recommend that you read the version that it's already there, and there's so much to learn from it. And when I was reading your book, that's when I found out about deuterium. They told me about this in school, that it's an isotope of hydrogen.
Yes.
And that's all I knew about it. But later, when I read your book, I realized this is a big jammer. It jams the mitochondria. It's like the hydrogen atom is this big and the deuterium atom is this big.
Double.
And the mitochondria runs on a proton pump.
Yep.
And as the protons move through, if deuterium gets in there, it's going to be like putting something large into the pipes, which jams it. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then the shocking part was my favorite thing, coconut water, which I used to drink a lot of, is full of deuterium.
Yeah.
And there's a gynecologist friend of mine who treats endometriosis and all that stuff in her clinic. And she used to drink coconut water too.
Yeah.
And she ended up with fibroids. And then I could tell her it's because of the coconut water. Then she cut out the coconut water, started getting sun, and they've shrunk.
Yeah.
Her fibroids literally shrank.
Awesome.
So, what is this power of avoiding deuterium? What is it? What can you break it down for us?
I will. So what happens is I would say that it's the word I'll use is yoked. So we can absolutely drink coconut water. Yeah, for sure.
Now tell me.
Provided that you're getting a ton of the sun that made the coconut water. So it's always context. So if you're healthy and you're a coconut farmer and you're climbing the coconut tree to get the coconut water, go for it. You know, those guys and ladies are slim. They're not big people climbing up a coconut tree. Otherwise, the coconut tree will fall over. So they're in the sun. They can drink the coconut water because they can deplete the deuterium. Yeah, that's in that coconut water. They can have the fruit that has more deuterium in it. So it's context of how you're living your life and your current state of health that determines what you need to do. So what I would say is that the sun will always be number one. And the level of deuterium that you can handle in your food and your drinks will be determined by where you're living. So how much sun is there? So I could be in the sun in Melbourne in winter, but there's no vitamin D being made or hormone D. It's less intense, so I'm not getting as much benefit from that sun. So therefore I would probably not want to drink coconut water. I probably would want to have beautiful ghee. I would probably want to have olive oil, some cheese, those type of foods. But if I was living in a high rise in Bangalore, I don't think I'd be wanting to drink lots of coconut water because I'm already accumulating deuterium through my environment. So I want to try to limit that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, talking about Bangalore, a lot of my friends live there and they're very concerned about pesticides in the food. So they're trying their best to make organic food. Right. How important is this?
Yeah, for sure. Well, pesticides like glyphosate is probably the major one. Holes in your gut, so you can't absorb as much food. It's a poison. Cause holes in your blood-brain barrier as well. So there's nothing good about glyphosate. So that's one of the reasons why it's really good to avoid the grains.
But it's a desiccating agent for every grain.
Yes.
People think the rice doesn't have glyphosate, but it does.
Yeah.
They use it to desiccate it.
Yeah, and it's probably in the rainwater as well, as well as other heavy metals, etc. So that's why I personally try to drink less water. I try to make more of my deuterium depleted water in my body. So again, and then
how do you make your own water?
So like a camel. Camel goes through the desert without drinking.
That's right. Yeah.
So what the camel will do is use the fat in its hump, and it makes its own metabolic water. And you make more metabolic water from fat, like cheese, could be fish or eggs, coconut oil. You make more fat, make more deuterium depleted water from fats than carbohydrates. So that's one of the reasons why it's always good to add ghee to your vegetables, for instance. Wow. So, and then you're less reliant on the water supply that we're not so sure of, and we don't want to have the grains that are also simple carbs, basically sugar, harder to make deuterium depleted water from the carbs, and the carbs are also poisoned by the glyphosate. Wow. So
almost all the carbs are poisoned by glyphosate, and people think it's only wheat, but it's
Yeah.
not. It's not. It's a lot
In
of
in
things.
Europe, they have higher standards. So people go to Italy and they eat the pizza, and they're fine. So it depends where you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally Australia is very bad as well.
Yeah, but it's now becoming more possible in India to get organic food, which is not doused
Yeah.
with glyphosate, desiccated with glyphosate, but
Yeah.
allowed to desiccate naturally.
Yeah.
So there are people who swig water while they eat. Is that a good idea?
I personally would not. I don't even swig water while I'm running a half marathon. So I think if you're already naturally hydrated, have your water and then enjoy your food, be mindful, take a break, enjoy the company of the person you're with, and enjoy, be mindful. And I personally don't. Yeah, yourself? Do
Me,
you?
no, I never swig water.
No.
After you taught me about ghee, I just douse myself in ghee.
Yeah.
I even apply it on my cracks on my heels, and they've gone. See,
Nice.
I don't have cracks on my heels anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've been applying
I was
ghee on it.
a bit worried when you said your cracks. Yeah, I was thinking, oh no, too
On
much
my heel.
information.
On my heel. Okay, context is everything. Huh? Okay, so I had these.
That's awesome.
I had these wicked cracks on my heels, and I thought that would be a problem too. What if someone had like wicked cracks on the heel and then they went and got grounding? Is it safe for them to do that?
Yeah, yeah. I would be careful. Grounding, of course, best
Would
done
they
at
get
the
infected?
No, I don't think so. But best done at the beach, in water. So that's the ideal grounding. Wet grass
Wet grass.
is ideal.
Okay.
Grass would be next best, but you can even get it on cement. That natural, porous products.
Do I get more electrons if I just pour more water on the ground?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And I can get it from concrete also?
Yes. Yeah, but not bitumen, not man-made products, but from rocks and other things like that.
Okay.
So on that one, I think because the grounding, there's many benefits of grounding. The first one is that you will have more energy flow in your body. So it's electrons. When your body has more energy flowing through it, you can absorb more sunlight. So that's why they go hand in hand together, exactly like what you've said before.
Wow. So you got to get some electrons rolling in your body, and then the sunlight gets
You
absorbed
absorb
better.
more.
Okay.
Yeah. So just because you're in the sun naked doesn't mean you can absorb the sun.
Oh.
You need to get that body vibrant, get some good food flowing through that body with that high in energy. Get the sun. Then you're a better light being to absorb that sunlight. You don't want to be dehydrated. So if you put a plant outside that's dehydrated, it won't do as well. You need to water that plant.
Yeah, that's
a
right.
little
I've
bit.
noticed this.
Yeah.
That's right.
Hey, sorry. One aside. Thanks for mentioning the book. When I was in the Philippines, just about to go back home to Australia, there were 5 Filipinos, young children, all hiding under umbrella from the midday sun. So I actually went over, gave them a copy of my book, and I made them read out loud chapter 3 on the sun.
Okay. Wow.
And they had to sit there and read it out and understand it. Then I let them keep the book, and then I was happy. And then they actually moved to the sun after that.
Wow.
So I just wanted to share that.
But did they know English? They did?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So sorry, I just wanted to.
Yeah, that's great. And that's a really good idea too, because I've done this with some of my students when they were too lazy to even read your book. So I called them up and I read the chapter on the sun to them. And then the next thing they were out in the sun.
And
So-
it's simple. I read the chapter again yesterday. It's good. I like it as well.
Yeah, it's a great book. Man. Yeah. All right.
So the deuterium, absolutely. Let's try to increase our energy by having food that has less deuterium. So that would be ghee is a classic example. So I put ghee on my vegetables. If I do have rice, I'll add ghee, coconut oil, and olive oil. And then it
Make it a lot of fat.
it just makes a simple carbohydrate better. Which is, if you can make something better, why not?
Yeah. It also breaks down slower, I guess.
Yes, yeah.
The glucose
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So you don't get the spikes of glucose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then that what goes up comes down. Then you look.
Yeah. Every spike of glucose results in a crash.
Yeah.
When I was diabetic, I found that out.
Yeah.
Because I would see my sugars real high, and then one day I'm like feeling so tired. I'm feeling like I'm dead. And I checked my sugars, it was 60,
Yeah.
which is usually supposed to be around 80.
Yes.
And then I was feeling miserable with just a 20-point drop in sugar.
Yeah.
And then when sugar goes too high, you feel like your blood pressure is going to burst your ears. But I used to have sugars like 400 because I had LADA, latent autoimmune diabetes in adults.
Yes.
And that just came up because of my environment, of my electromagnetic environment.
Yeah.
And that's the next thing I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
Because at that time, I was spending a lot of time in the artificial light at night. And I used to switch on an artificial light because I thought that the glare of the laptop was not good for me. So I used to sit and work on my laptop all night. And I thought I'm a night person, you know. I said, I'm not a day person, I'm a night person. I thought I'm nocturnal. And I became really sick. I became really sick really fast. So that's when I got diabetes. Latent, it's an autoimmune disease. And then I'm like, what am I going to do? After some time, when I started eating fruits, they started turning into alcohol. And that alcohol ruined my liver, and I almost had liver cirrhosis. All because I was working at night.
Yeah.
And so I've really experienced a lot of the bad effects of artificial light at night. I think you already spoke about it. But I'd like you to talk to us about what are the different frequencies that are invisible that are entering into our house and beating us up.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are these?
I like that. Great question. First thing, we didn't touch on this, or I didn't touch on this. When we're in sunlight, our blood sugar can be reduced by up to 27%.
I read your post on that. Yeah.
So the sun reduces your blood sugar.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's just without doing anything. You go into artificial light like you did, bathing in it, it increases your blood sugar by up to 67%. So without eating a Mars bar or having anything else, having a can of Coke. So you're basically, you might not have been eating, but you're effectively having a pizza, a bowl of rice.
Back then, Chad, I was avoiding fat because I thought it was bad.
Yeah.
I was eating, I was also avoiding meat because I thought it's bad.
Yeah.
So I was vegan almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have ghee and stuff, but very little. Say, oh, that's little. I don't want to fall sick. I already got diabetes.
And so what happens there is your sickness, what a blessing. What an absolute beautiful blessing, because it taught you exactly what you did wrong.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more important than that. So then you can find the right way. So what happened there was your energy inputs were virtually zero because your food was low energy food, simple carbs. Yeah. Your sunlight was not there.
Zero.
Yep. And then you also have a mismatch. So you're eating food that was made by the sun, but you were not seeing the sun, your skin in your eyes. So that's causing inflammation in your body as well.
Cravings for sweets.
That you were malnourished. So you didn't have enough resources for your body to fix itself. So
is that what cravings are?
Yeah. Hunger is basically generally malnourished, not enough sunlight, grounding, quality food. So if you're malnourished, how can you repair? How can you paint your house without paint?
That's right.
Yeah. So that one there. So, but again, so just that's the introduction to how bad artificial lighting is. So if you and I were to go into a gym and stress our mitochondria in our muscles, we're actually we're ruining our sleep cycle through ruining our melatonin. We're taking calcium out of our bones, calcium efflux. It's degrading our mitochondria. So there's really nothing good about it. The sun is life. Could almost say that the artificial light is anti-life. Wow. So of course we have to live in it, but you must try to mitigate or reduce that. And you're an example of how to do that. Wake and live during the day. Okay. Get outside, become natural. Because, for instance, the RF, which is short for radio frequencies, that's your Wi-Fi. That's your cell phone. Yeah. Yep, all of these things are...
I think we should call it cell-damaging phones.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, there's a smart meter. Hello, that's a smart watch.
Oh yeah.
If you got a smart watch, you're dumber than, I don't know, that's the dumbest thing on earth, right?
Yeah. But
Not to
why?
be rude.
Why?
Because that's then,
Because a lot of people have an Apple Watch.
yeah. So first thing is very basic. I don't wear a watch because I want the sun here.
On your wrist.
Yep. I don't want to cover my solar panel.
Okay.
But then if you're having that radio frequency transmitted into your body, you're basically connecting yourself to the cell tower and to the Wi-Fi tower, the Wi-Fi router. So you're getting radiation through your body that's dehydrating you cellularly. It's causing oxidation damage. You can't make oxygen as well. So there's just so many negative consequences from the radio waves. But then you've also got dirty electricity, which we talked about earlier.
Which comes out of these walls, right?
Yes.
Dirty electricity.
Yeah.
Because there are wires running through the walls.
Yes. But that one, the dirty electricity is actually, I think it's more junk conduction. So it can actually come from outside and come into your house through the power lines, like you said. So even when you're on your computer, in the artificial light, eating your low energy food, I bet your cell phone, your computer was connected to the
Wi-Fi.
and also connected to the plugs, the electricity.
Yes.
So when you're typing, you are also connected to the electricity, as well as the Wi-Fi beating you up, as well as the blue screen ruining your circadian rhythm, your immune system. So
I felt real sick real fast. I did everything that we shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, and I've done the same.
Okay.
You know, it's we're not sitting here.
Because I thought my laptop was the greatest thing ever invented.
Yeah.
Helping me connect to people, talk to people all over the world. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
But you know what? During that whole time, I didn't talk to people living in my house because I was busy on that.
Yeah.
So it spoiled my mental health too.
Yes. Yeah.
My sense of connection was gone because I was on my device all the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep without this.
Yeah.
Scrolling.
Terrible. Well, the thing there as well is my book was written in the sun. So I went to Boracay. It's a big island resort in the Philippines. I wrote it there. I wrote it using battery power only, which is more optimal, downstairs at the pool where we lived. So yeah, I really think that helped with the generation of ideas, the analogies, and the way that I communicated the teaching.
Yeah.
So I think that helped me because of the blood flow, the brain.
Yeah, it's a special book for sure.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks. So again, I don't know if you've thought about this, but how was your communication when you were doing that in that state of mind?
Not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Yeah.
I couldn't connect to people at all.
Yeah.
It seemed like I was talking and I was like inside a balloon or some kind of wall, which I wasn't able to reach out to people.
Yeah.
I couldn't connect.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's the connection. So we want to be connected to the ground, to the sun, to nature, which then brings us in connection with people that are real. Because it's easy to connect with people who aren't real over the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Chad, that was like a pretty comprehensive list. And if I was sick and I heard this video, I would get new hope. I'm sure about it. And when we're there, there are people who just don't feel confident to do all this on their own. And those are the people who come to you. Yes. And they take your experience and they stand on the shoulders of giants, and then they get implementing, right? So at what stage do people come to you? Like, what are your typical clients? We all know you're the author of a book, pretty popular book, and also a very successful health coach who doesn't give supplements out, who doesn't hand out supplements, because every other health coach, nutritional guide I know is recommending a lot of blood tests and a lot of supplements, and you don't want to know about their blood tests at all. No. So how does it work? What kind of people come to you, and how do you help them? Can you give us an overview?
Yeah, great. Thank you. I think hope is a beautiful word. If you have hope, if you have no hope, you have no chance. So as soon as you have hope for more energy, for a better life, for hope for your parents to be healthier, hope for your children to have more energy and to do better at school and to be smarter and to be happier. So if you've got that hope, those people come to me. And even some who are losing hope. And I help instill them because I've seen almost everything from A to Z of disease. And people get healthier naturally. So I've had professional athletes, professional basketball players, UFC winners. So they're already healthy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
UFC winners.
They're all primed?
Yes. Yeah. And then the number one thing they needed was the sun.
Yeah.
But because it makes them stronger, their bones stronger, recovery. But people with diabetes, people with hypertension, I've looked after entire families from a 5-year-old to the 90-year-old. I've helped people, companies. There's Clint in Western Australia. He's an HR manager. He's looking at getting his company primed so they'll be more productive.
Clint.
Yeah, Clint.
Yeah.
And Sudha.
Yeah, all right.
So she actually was a doubter on the sun. She's very smart, at masters, I think, or MBA. So I spent, even though she wasn't my direct client, I helped her for Clint and for her and her children. So now, for the first time in 20 years, she had no eczema, psoriasis, pain-free for the first time. So basically I look after anybody and who thinks that there's no hope, that even if they have stage 3 cancer, we can still make your quality of life better. You can still get better. If you believe, you can achieve. And so I love doing that. It's a matter of, and baby steps. You don't have to do everything all at once. But it's, as we know, it's quite simple.
Have you ever had to study more for a client because you didn't know how to help them?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah, all the time. And that's what I'm doing now. So the reason I just left my job, full-time job in Australia, actually a job in the sun all day. I actually got really good income from that job. But I quit because I want to spend more time helping more people. And that involves researching.
Yeah.
Finding out the latest ways to teach, to implement have new knowledge, and then how best to transfer that knowledge.
Oh, wow.
So so it's my passion, and it works. So because I've seen.
Let's say now you've been doing this for 10 years. How many hours do you guess that you would have spent into studying about this stuff in 10 years?
A lot, I think, because also every time you interact with somebody, it's a time to learn.
Yeah.
So just like Dr. Gowrie,
Yeah.
We learn from our clients. So the conversations, what was something that helped that person. So that's studying.
Right.
I'm studying the environment. I'm studying the people who are healthy. So I'm always observing. But physically reading books. So I'm going to do the 64-day challenge.
You did my challenge?
Yeah, I will.
Right.
So that's in the new year. Will be started in January.
Okay.
If you accept me.
Of course.
Thank you. So absolutely, I'll be doing that because I want to get better. I personally want to be healthier. So I will do a breath work course as well.
Yeah.
So because then once I'm healthier, the way to happiness is to share. If you have a gift, give it away. And that's really what makes me happy. So I really believe people can be healthy, happier, stronger. We have the way to teach them, and I'm not going to stop.
We teach because you'll find the scientific reason why it works. Because I don't know. I know that you breathe in from your left nostril, you breathe out from your right. You just get healthier. I know this. But I would like to teach that to you because most people can't even open out their valves in their nose, so they can't breathe in through the left or right. So this is beyond them. They don't know how to do it. But when you're able to do it, then you'll probably find out like what's happening on a mitochondrial level. So I'm very excited if you do yoga.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I think that's also important, is to understand your body. A lot of people are disconnected. They think they're healthy, but when you ask them, how's your energy in the afternoon? Oh, it's 3. And then they say, but my overall health is 6. I say, no, no, your overall health is somewhere in the toilet. and let's improve. So yeah, people need to be connected to how they feel, and then how they can improve that and get the wins.
And so they can evaluate themselves because they'll feel a lot better, isn't it?
Yep.
Is that how your clients evaluate themselves?
That's how I do
they're
it.
feeling?
Skin quality, libido, sleep quality, whether you dream, your mental clarity, your mood, your memory. One really dear friend of mine who's now in Hungary, her memory was poor. She had to write on her hand all the time.
Wow.
5 kilos overweight, and she could not tolerate the sun. We stood outside every morning. We looked towards the sun. She got more sunshine. Her memory improved. She lost 5 kilograms before her wedding, and her outlook on life improved.
Wow.
Simple.
Wow, that's amazing, Chad.
Yeah.
So have you had clients who are difficult, people who you wish you hadn't taken up?
No, my motto is grateful always, positive always.
All right.
So even the most so-called difficult person will be a blessing, because it will teach me how to be more patient, how to be understanding, maybe how to forgive and let go. So yeah, definitely challenging ones, but you know, if the intention is always there for love and for help. Because also the other one there is that we never know who we're infecting. So that person might not quite do the optimum, but they'll still improve.
Yeah.
So no matter what, they will get better.
Yeah.
But maybe their son or their daughter watched.
Okay.
Maybe their dad watched. In the Philippines, I had a client who lost 10 kilograms, part of a company, a 400 employee company that I looked after. And she lost 10 kilograms and her energy was up. And I just asked her, is there anyone else in your family that improved? And her husband lost 15 kilograms and he no longer needs stroke medication.
Wow.
I've never met him. I don't know what he looks like.
He just went along with his wife.
Yes.
Into the sun.
Yep. So we never know. So again, that's my passion also. I've just had Swepna and Sriprada, Indians living in different parts of the world. I've just talked to their children. So that's also part of my program, is that, you know, we rise by lifting others. And if Swepna or Sriprada are telling their children to do this, well, that's part of the tactic, because then they have to do it.
Correct, because they got to, they've committed to it now.
Walk the walk.
Walk the walk, or they lose the respect of the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then the children love it. They intuitively understand nature.
Yeah. That's true. And I've seen pets, you don't need to tell them. Like, my cat goes and sits in the sun, my dog goes and sits in the sun.
Yeah, our dog is only small. His name is Billy. So cute. He loves the sun. He lives for it. If there's a crack of sun, he's in it. And then when he goes in the cold water, which we put him sometimes, he's bouncing on the beach. Because it gives him energy. When you're cold, your energy flows faster.
Yeah.
So not only is he getting the sun's energy and the grounding energy, that cold helps the energy to flow.
Wow.
So it's actually useful. And you can see he's 15, which is 99 in human years. But he looks like a puppy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Even your dog has eternal youth.
He's primed as well.
Yeah, he's primed. Wow. That's amazing. Okay. So when somebody loses motivation, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like one of your clients loses motivation, what do you do then?
That happens. Well, we always set the expectation from the very beginning. Better every day. So never ever once will I be angry or disappointed in you, because we expect us not to attain perfection. That's really not achievable. So what we'd say is, look, when you do take a step back, understand it. Let's learn why that happened. And it might be that they had to travel, and then the artificial light from the airport and the 5G from the airport increased their blood sugar. They felt hungry. Their mood changed because they were around negative people. Or whatever the trigger was, there's a reason. So let's address that. Let's learn. So I'm there to help motivate, to help inspire, and to say it's okay. that you take a step back. But we're going to take 2 steps forward.
That's amazing, Chad. And I found that a lot of when you said we don't have to be perfect, that resonates with me because I find a lot of people are trying to get like how they were at an earlier time when they come to transformation, body transformation, mind transformation. They remember a time when they were okay, like I want to fit into my college pants. So, do you think this is a healthy thing to keep an ideal like that and getting in? Or how should one set goals? In other words, how do you set your health goals?
Yeah, well, I think the health goals absolutely important. You have to have a target, and then you can write that down. Your future health goals, how you want to be. So meditate on that. Have positive affirmations on how you are and how you will be. See it in your mind, and then you have to do the steps to get there. And one of those steps might be understanding what your environment was when you were healthy. So, for instance, when you came back from the mountain, UV light was higher, darker skin. You felt bulletproof. What a lesson! Let's get back to that because of these
environments.
Yes.
Oh wow!
And then you also know that I went downhill when I was addicted to my computer and late nights. So yeah, I always try to dwell on the positive, but there's lessons from when you took that step back.
Okay. Yeah. And one of the things I loved and which I did first when I read your book was to ask myself, who are my health heroes?
Yeah.
And I think that helped a lot. How does that work? Because the moment I think of them, I feel like, hey, I got to be like my grandmother.
Yes.
You know, how she was. And even in her 90s, with her wits with her, completely physically present. Like, when I say when, I'm not half the human that my grandmother was.
Yes.
So it works for me like that. But how does it actually work? Is there
It's awesome. Yeah.
Is it important? Is it essential
It's
to have
essential.
a health hero?
It's essential.
Wow.
Because it gives you a guiding light, a north star of what is possible. Because all around us now, unfortunately, there's a lot of sickness. There's a lot of people spending their money on supplements, the gym, the hospital, the blood tests, and it's not working. So let's look at Rashmi, one of your students. She really told me about her 85-year-old grandmother and her life of cooking outside, being outside, grounded, eating food that was seasonal and local, and having a heart of compassion and love and the blood flow and all of those things. And she lived a beautiful life and she was awesome. So that's who I aspire to be like. But her other grandmother did the opposite and suffered the consequences of ill health. So I think it's a health hero and a health anti-hero.
Yeah.
So those people, Steve Jobs, for instance, or those people who don't live well or who have a bad energy, there's reasons for it. So I think it's if you write it down and then you really have that mindset of that's what I want, that's a goal, and that's what I don't want. It's also important. So and that also gets back to it's not what you're aspiring, it's what you don't want. When you're in the sun, you're no longer in the artificial light. So when you're in the sun, so it's not just where you are, it's where you're not. So
you want to be, but you don't want to be.
Yeah.
You need to know both.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, the yin and the yang.
Yeah. So something I did was also make a system to start measuring how much I'm doing, how much of time am I doing in the sun.
Yes.
And how much of grounding and how many times am I eating, how much water do I drink. And I also tracked how much ghee do I eat. So I thought that tracking really helped me.
Yes.
So is that something you encourage?
I do. I love a checklist, and it's unique to you because your students, my clients, they're all over the world. So one student needs to chase the sun, the other student needs to embrace the cold.
Yes.
One needs to eat olive oil, one needs to have coconut oil. One can do anything because they're healthy in the sun and living in Mysore, so it's not as important, their food because they've got the direct sunlight.
Right.
But the checklist, when just the physical checking it off, is a dopamine hit.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It feels good, and it keeps you on track. And the top of my list is always morning sun in my eyes, set a positive intention. So to live my motto of grateful and positive, and then chase the sun. That's the top of my list. Okay. So every day, every way I want to be in the sun. And then there's, other things there that's unique to me. Or so it could be the 33 spins, could be rebounding.
I started that too.
It's awesome. That's for your lymphatic system.
Yeah. And it's also good for your calves.
Yes.
I'm feeling strong, like I can kick a lion in the face right now because of my calves. Yeah. Springiness.
Yeah, then you can also run away from the lion after you kick it in the face. So there's I've got several the list that goes down. It can be quite long. Yeah. But it's again it feels good. And
do you help your clients make this list?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That sounds systematic.
Yeah, and then we track the score at the end. How their sleep has improved, how the mental clarity, the mood, all of these things. And as soon as the energy is increased, I say, okay, you can.
You know what I like the most? Bed.
Yeah.
Better every day.
Yeah. It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because and that's what we should do. Because if you dwell on the past, on any so-called mistake, you miss the present. You're no longer mindful.
True.
So let's just keep being better.
Yeah. I think it really works to have something to measure and see if you got better than yesterday.
Yeah.
Then, even if you didn't, it's okay.
Yeah. It's okay.
Because you know what mistakes you made. You got wiser,
Yeah. And also at the end of the day, there's 30 days in a month, roughly. So if you have one average day, well, you're going to have, that's only 3% of the month.
Yeah.
So let's put it into perspective.
Yeah. It's only 3%.
Yeah.
Wow, that's right.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
So of that month. So I use that
tactic. Wow, people are beating themselves up over a 3%.
Yeah.
Loss.
Not worth it. And then they self-sabotage.
Yeah, they're beating themselves up 100% for a 3%. They should beat themselves up 3%.
Exactly. Yeah. But the negative there is then they'll say, forget it then, I'll just eat this food, I'll stay on my computer, I won't do the things that I've been doing. So that's the point, is how do you stay on track? So that checklist is a good one because it keeps you on point.
I guess one of the advantages of having you as a mentor is that they have help making the list and they have help staying on track.
Yes.
Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
And I even have clients from the Philippines from when I started that I'm still helping.
Wow.
So because, once you have a connection with somebody, you want to help. And then so they'll ask questions and it's a joy. So that's my mantra as well.
I've noticed that even with all of my students who are your clients, they speak of you really fondly. They're like, they don't have anything bad to say about you, man.
Oh.
Like nothing.
Awesome.
I thought they'd say something bad about Chad. No, nothing.
But that's
amazing.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Honestly. So of course I still sometimes have to say the hard truths.
Yes.
But
I've seen you do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's always with a empathetic heart.
I think you're better than me in that.
No.
In the language, because I go boom, 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 but you're not like that.
Yeah.
I think you really have it. You say it in a diplomatic way that will not hurt their feelings. When they need a dose of truth, they need a dose of truth. I agree.
100%. Yeah, and I think we have different roles. So I think when you say it, then it stings a bit, and then you do it because they needed it.
They need that energy.
Yeah.
Wow. So there was one more thing I wanted to ask you. Like, isn't it true that we're all just electrical beings? So it makes sense then to avoid anything that changes our electricity.
Yeah.
And indulge in more things that increase our electricity, which is what we should be doing.
Yeah, I've kept it fairly simple. I know you liked my the analogy of there's 3 points that I've tried to say is improve the good, reduce the bad, and then sleep.
Yeah.
And in the middle is peace of mind, which is hugely important.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to go looking for other. Wow. Because it's not to say that we're perfect, but to say that at least we've got a good template. It's context anyway, your individual context, and we'll try to help motivate you, guide you. But what we're doing is really simple. Let's improve the good inputs: sunlight, grounding, your food, your thoughts, your sleep, and let's reduce what drains you. So that's your Wi-Fi, your computer, the late nights, and these things put holes in your gut, holes in your blood-brain barrier. They drain your life force. They make you dumb. They ruin your mood. They ruin your relationships. You know, so and alcohol is one of them. I'm glad I gave up. And I do think of you. If ever I think I'm going to have some alcohol, I think, well, what would Guru say? So again, that's one of the reasons why we also have.
I'd say the home
mentors.
of Kali, the most evil force in the world, alcohol.
Yeah, well, it's as we said, fake light is right up there. The Wi-Fi environment. It does similar damage. Anything that ruins your sleep.
After a few drinks, people don't know who they are anymore.
Yeah. Well, and then it ruins their sleep. So they don't repair. They can't detox.
That's right.
They're worse the next day than they were. And then there's a spiral.
Wow. Okay. So now when I come to you as a client, there'll be sometimes I wonder if there are so many recommendations, how am I going to implement them all? Do I do it all at once, or do I do one a day, or, do I have a schedule for implementation?
We have a schedule.
You do?
So what we'll do is we'll give a big picture overall. So let you know where we're going. So how are we going to increase your energy? What are we going to do to decrease what steals your energy? So, for instance, the blue light blocking glasses, you've already got them there.
Oh, yeah.
But if they're not, then I have to analyze that. Are they using them? How often are they using them? No matter how often they're in the sun, I tell them to do more. So if you're not doing it well enough, you need more. The grounding. So then we analyze. So we'll start small and what will have the biggest impact. So you'll see a change within 2 or 3 days.
Wow.
And then we'll build. So we'll build onto the coconut oil pulling. We'll build onto some exercise outdoors, like the nitric oxide release or the rebounding. We'll build with sleep habits, taping your mouth, all of these things that will help boost your energy. But it has to be done in a step fashion. Right. So we can't throw everything at them, because then it's overwhelming. Yeah.
Because you know what happened to me? I did Dr. Zach Bush's course. I did a whole lot of other such courses where people dumped information and there was no implementation schedule. Yeah. And they had some kind of meetings once in a week or once in a month where I would meet up with a whole lot of other people who had a lot of problems, and my questions were not addressed. Yeah. I don't find any of my students complaining of that with you. They feel well heard and well listened to. So how do you do it? How do you attend to so many people? And why do you not have a course structure? Why do you just say, let's make it only for you?
Yeah, because it has to be only for them, because it's context. Because everybody's N equals 1 is different. So even two sisters, Dr. Manasseh and Riddhi, they live in the same house, but they live in different rooms. So there's different environmental impact.
Oh my God!
Within each room.
Wow.
So what then happens is the context is finding out. Sometimes it takes me a little while. They have a TV in your bedroom. Stop. You either kick your husband out, or you have to move out if the husband wants the TV. Okay. But get insurance, life insurance on your husband, because he might not be around too long. Because I've seen one of my beautiful clients in the Philippines. The dad had a heart attack. He did all the good things primed, but he left the TV in the bedroom. And I said, stop. He had a heart attack. So I've seen it. So it's a matter of just helping them, having the steps and listening, seeing what they need for their own personal selves, and then also spreading it out to the family, a way to make sure that it's sustainable, so they don't beat themselves up, and that it's long term, because it needs to be. This is a lifestyle. It shouldn't be difficult. So we're trying to make it not difficult.
Okay. So, does everyone who come to you come with chronic conditions, or do they come with acute stuff as well?
Yeah, no, all sorts. So from stage 3 cancer to I just feel a little lethargic. So yoga experts and all sorts, professional athletes. I don't think there's probably not one person in the world that we couldn't help a little bit, just by
I know what you
with the
mean.
knowledge.
Yeah.
So whether it's a football team or a company, so again, and that's the passion, is to help, because we deserve it.
Yeah.
We've been lied to, we've been false information, and it's not fair. It affects children. That's not fair, because their parents weren't taught the right thing, and then they pass on their bad habits.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Yes, I was livid and angry when I saw that the RF signal is coming right into the room of my director of my foundation, Shweta, and it's been affecting her for 2 years now.
Yeah.
And she's been wondering what's wrong. Why do I wake up battered every time I sleep? And I was like, I don't know. And we didn't even know there was a cell phone tower in sight, in line of sight, until we got that RF meter.
Yeah.
So I was livid. I was like, we have to do this. This is injustice. This is not okay.
Yeah.
Because people don't know what's happening to them.
Well, imagine a baby that
Imagine a
hasn't
baby,
developed
man,
yet.
hasn't even developed.
Yeah.
And don't women and children get affected more
Yeah.
by all these radiations?
Yeah, for children for sure, because they're not developed yet.
Yeah.
Ladies as well. I think it's.
I think their skin is a lot softer, lady skin.
Yeah.
And ours is more thick. So
could be. Our brains are more thick.
yeah. And also we got these ledges on our eyes, which kind of protect us from direct harsh sunlight, overhead sun.
Yeah.
But women don't have them. They get rounded here. Like our eyes are more set in.
Yeah.
So I think there are primary differences between men and women. So what do you think about that? Does it matter?
Yeah,
To get primed, is it different for a man and different for a woman?
nuance.
Okay.
So again, just as it might be different for a man or a woman in a different country. So again, so that's this, and again, there's so many ladies have gotten pregnant primed. I think there might be 1,000 pregnancies because of the principles.
Really?
More than, yeah. And then menstrual cycles improving. So even one, Kirty she was, I think, that close to having an operation because of the pain and the blood flow and the debilitating effect. But now she just hung in there, and now she's coming through the other side. Her period pain has gone away.
Wow.
So and that was living with that for many years. And then even we know of Vignesh in Malaysia.
Oh yeah, the guy had bloating till here.
Yeah.
And for 14 years.
Yeah.
Until he met you, and then you asked him to eat more ghee and stop drinking so much water.
Yeah. But again, he did the hard work with you.
Yeah.
So what happened to him was he was digging, and he was just about to hit the gold nugget. And if he'd stopped, he would have missed it. But he persisted. So again, that's the other thing, is to let people know that you might not see the change, but you are developing a metabolic six pack.
I'm glad you're there, Chad, because when I saw his stomach, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
His stomach used to bloat like a pregnant woman.
Yep.
Every day.
I've seen that from gluten, that effect. A beautiful client in the Philippines had that, but yeah, his was more deuterium related.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, just because again, the quality of the water in Malaysia, we don't know.
Yeah.
And where does he live? What's his environment? So again, that's why it's really important to see what's around you, see the cell phone tower, where's the smart meter, what's even at the other side of your bed head, on the other side of the room. Look out the window, what's there? You want to live on the lower floor, not the first, the second, the third floor, because the Wi-Fi signals come up. So all of these little nuances which we can help with.
Wow. I tell my students, who can you trust? I ask them, how do you know who you can trust? Then I tell them, you can trust people who have a win in helping you or working with you, who find it morally right and correct to be working with you, and who know the step by step to do whatever it is you're doing together. Then trust them. Otherwise, don't trust them. I think, Chad, you have all those three things. I think you find a big win in helping people. You find it morally the right thing to do, which is, for me, very important. I can't work with people who don't have the right morals. And I also think that you've boiled it down over 10 years and you've made it so step by step that like even the most uninformed person who doesn't know anything about all of this can still pick up somewhere, and they've got something to come out with. So it's a great ecosystem that you've built, and I really, I would like to invite everybody watching who's got a chronic health issue, talk to Chad. Send him an email, and he'll, I think you respond very fast to emails.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So the day I sent Chad an email, he replied to me in 6 hours on that day. So I knew that he's into his work. So I would request everybody who wants to learn. We've provided options under this video where you can get in touch with Chad. Just get on to it, get yourself primed. I'd like to see the most healthy version of yourself, out there. And Chad, if there's anything else that you think we've missed, and the idea about this video was to give you some value, and also not leave you hanging, to give you an option to go forward and join the tribe, join the community. Chad, what about community? Tell me about it.
I love that. Community is so important, because if you grow with the wrong community, you're jumping out of a plane without a parachute.
Yeah.
You can do some really bad damage to yourself. So again, if you're with the right community that's supporting, that might not know all the answers and will say so, but generally has a good template, that's based in nature, and is not trying to sell you everything under the sun, the supplements, etc. I think then that community supports you, and it gives you hope, which is what we talked about, and hope, and then you get better. And when you have the small wins, you want more wins. So a lot of clients have said,
and was it your community all started only by your students?
Yes. Yeah.
You didn't even have to do anything.
I have a few videos.
You did.
Yeah, I have to do something.
Yeah, of course.
But no, it's fantastic.
And I see that on the community, you haven't sold a single thing. You're not selling stuff.
No.
You just have it to help people.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. So if you want to join the community, the link
Eternal
is
Youth.
Yeah, the Eternal Youth community. The link is down here. It's full of amazing people, and you'll get to see photos of a sunrise every day, and it will motivate you to go out and get something, and also to start a conversation, get to know the people there, see their stories, and slowly get your way back to health, which is what we want for you. We think that you're more useful to the world, healthy and youthful, than sick and old. So that's what we want from you, eternal youth.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
All right, Chad. It's been a great conversation. Having you in Mysore is one of the happiest things that happened at this whole year for me.
Yeah.
It happened at the end of the year. And you came bearing gifts, and you came bearing love and cheer. Yeah. So thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome. My pleasure. And the gifts were the kaniki, the see-through shorts.
Yeah.
You don't see everything through the shorts, but you get to see you get to see more sun with the shorts. Coconut oil.
Yeah.
So
wow, I tried that this morning, and it was really tasty.
It's tasty.
Why? Yeah. Why is it so tasty?
It's organic. Okay. It's centrifuged, so it's never been heated. Just
switched.
So I'm glad, and it's been a pleasure. I love Mysore. I love the Indian people, and it's here to help, and it's a joy to help. And it's
Thanks,
it's
Chad.
nice
we
to
love you too.
Nice to have a brother in arms as well.
All right, that's great. Okay, thank you everybody for watching. And like I said, don't ignore your health, because if you lost your youth, you've lost everything. All the links you need are below this video. Get on, get involved at whatever capacity you want to be, and slowly make your way out of hopelessness and despair into a world where you feel that you're in control of your life.